If we can just finish this little bit of the discussion of the economy, we heard the former president throw in a bit of what the problem is really and not what we seem to be identifying as the problem. Let's hear him very briefly and then come to hear you on what you have to say about that. Okay, I understand that we can go on without playing that bit of the sound. Now, Nana, I'm sure you must have heard Jerry Rawlings. He says that the real problem of our economy is not the things we are talking about. It's about the redenomination of the cedi. Go and look for Kufour and task him to answer those questions.
Well, this big flog. This is a big debate. Maybe I would have loved to hear about good friend Kukubaku on this matter, on his favorite matter before.
Jerry appears to know something that we don't, and the economists have it's escaped the economists.
You know, I was a little astounded when I heard that statement or read it in the newspapers. But when I eventually got to the text, the real text, understood where it was coming from, and really I thought that maybe they just took it out. He said an example. In fact, he started by saying an example of this is this. So what did he say? And for which he gave one example. And really, if you compare what Dr. Butcher said, if you read it, you would think that they almost compared notes in terms of the issues which Mr. Jerry Rawlings said. You know, he talked about June 4th being a signpost that we should not rub off, that we should not forget, you know, because of the issues of truth, probity, and accountability, which is now part of our constitution anyway. Now, it's a historical fact. There's nothing you can do about it. It's there. But listen to what he said, the conclusion. He said, fellow countrymen and women, as we reflect on the journey we have traveled since June 4th, 1979, let us renew our commitment to truth, probity, and accountability. Let us believe that people's power is still an important ingredient, but a genuine system for empowering citizens and uplifting their lives. Empowering citizens means giving them a genuine role to play in the governance, in governance of this country. These were the values that we stood for in 1979, and that the June 4th anniversary seeks to rekindle the strong spirit of integrity and our ability to defy that which is wrong. I think that is the message he said. I don't think he was asking for another June 4th. He was just saying that let's not forget June 4th. But for today, it looks like some people have forgotten that the things which made June 4th happen, you know, can be very treacherous.
I was referring you to a specific point.
Yes.
He says that the sacrilege we committed was that the NDC abandoned the altar of its high moral standing, abandoned the altar of service to God and man, and some decided to eat off the table that Kufour left behind. I have said over and again that Kufour is responsible for setting in motion the moral and economic crisis that we are experiencing today. And I will say it again today. The investigation that Mills should have initiated never took place. But today, let me give you one very visible and concrete example of Kufour's mismanagement that we are all feeling the effects of. When Kufour's government removed 4 knots from the cedi, he overnight abolished the people's economy. He abolished the people's economy because he abolished the means to exchange goods below the value of 1,000 old cedis. Now, just listen to this last bit. So now, when the new cedis were introduced, what happened to the old cedis? Did the Kufour government destroy them as was necessary to rein in inflation? Why did the new cedi so quickly lose its value? Did Kufour give us any account of what happened to the stash of the old cedis?
Yes, you see,
he has his suspicions.
I'm saying that this is a very important platform. This, what we are sitting on, is a very important. We go beyond Ghana internationally and all. So we must be part of nation building. We must be part of the growth and unity of this country. Mr. J. Rawlings is entitled to his views. He's entitled to his position. He may be right, he may be wrong. I'm not going to sit here to judge whether that statement he made was right or wrong. The reason, very simple, I don't have the economics head to understand what he said.
You don't think what he's talking about is important?
He doesn't. No.
You said this is an important platform.
No. I'm saying that you know, scientifically or in terms of economics, I haven't had the opportunity of asking an expert to give me an opinion on that. That's fairly.
You think these are legitimate questions? You don't think so?
That's exactly the
Where
point.
did the old CDs go? He says overnight something must have happened.
No, Samson, that's exactly the point I'm making. Mr. J. Rawlings says that he's been making this claim among other claims all along. So as a country, what have we done to create a forum for him to ventilate those opinions? Is it possible that, for instance, look, he's a very senior member of the country. There are many other persons who have various questions. Can we create a forum under which maybe Council of State with the House of Chiefs and other people, a 3-member team or whatever, to create a forum so that he can be invited to put a case across, so that we can all find out whether we can these are matters we examine.
Rawlings doesn't look like a man who lacks the platform to say what he wants to say.
No. I'm saying that as we run by a constitution, we must have structures for dealing with concerns by people, and it is one of the weaknesses that we have. Otherwise, otherwise it will be like what is look. He makes what he thinks is a very important point. The next time I open
you don't think this is part of the economic problems we have?
No, I'm saying that I cannot.
Okay, you don't have the capacity to do that.
I'm just coming.
Right.
I'm just saying. The next day I open the iPad. Then is it Honorable Menu? Menu. You heard what he said. It's maybe Mr. Rawlings has a problem with Mr. Kufour because probably one, whatever. Snatch the girlfriend. You've trivialized it.
Okay.
You've trivialized it.
Let's hear you, Jerry. Right. Let's hear Kufour.
See, I think that we should focus on the redenomination matter.
Right. Because that is his biggest concern.
Yeah, because that is what he put out there. All the other things we say, we've heard them over and over again. So that, I believe, is the meat. Look, it was discredited, worn out, recycled propaganda nonsense. This is not the first time that issue is being raised.
He said
Ghanaians
so. He
tend
said
to
this
forget.
Is not the first time he's raising it.
In the run-up to election 2008, it was an issue put out there and run with, especially because Bawumia had then become a running mate to Nana Akufo-Addo. I recall that in 2007, when some newspapers raised this issue, because one Mr. Dente, he used to be an employee of the Bank of Ghana, had come up with some statements. The Bank of Ghana came out and clarified the situation. They have procedures and processes that all these matters go through. Indeed, the governor of the Bank of Ghana was in Parliament, 4th December 2006, to outline how things will be done. It's in the Hansard here. And how the circulation of both old and new CDs will be dealt with, and how the old will be redrawn. If you had money, old CDs there, and you go to make withdrawal, you are giving new. The old remains there. Then there's voluntary aspect that you could go with your old, give at the counter, and you are giving new. And they had a time and space of 6 months for that to happen. But even the old, you could, for many years to come, if you have it, still go to the bank and change it. Yeah. Then they indicated also the procedures in how you burn old currencies. It's all here. December 2007. The Bank of Ghana issued a statement, a copy of which I have here. In any case, it's the Bank of Ghana you ask this question of.
That's right.
So, a former president doing these things, it doesn't help anybody. He said, I've grown to the stage where I feel like I want to, you know, lessen my scrutiny and, if you like, attacks on him so that we can all move forward. So look, this is it's a non-issue. And be honest with you, it's a completely non-issue. It doesn't make sense. It ought not to be coming from a former president because the facts are available. Now there's the other aspect about people's economy abolished, value of the cedi went down. That's an economic argument. You even have some economists who may agree with him. That if it has stopped there, perhaps we can interrogate it. But you see, he boxed it with also the part of where are the old cedis, as if somebody collected the old cedis and those cedis have no longer got any value. Okay? So please, this is how we should look at the matter. And even then, the governor, when he went to the parliament, was questioned across the divide. And in terms of the risks involved, in terms of benefits of the redenomination, all here in this Hansard.
Dr. Zakaria, the former president certainly has a legitimate right to ask questions where he feels that he doesn't have clarity on. But this one, he says, I have asked it over and again. And I believe is the genesis of our economic woes.
Yes, thank you so much. Like the panelists have said, Kufour in particular, this is a former president of the Republic, a president who has ruled this country for almost 19 years. Somebody who has done great things for the country, having, handed over a democratic dispensation to this country. So it's really huge and heavy when a statement comes from him, no matter how we try to trivialize it. Again, the issue of the redenomination, he has mentioned that he has certain challenges with regards to questions that he had posed over the years, and he is expecting some particular responses from the from the bodies that be. He said he had been asking it since the time of Atamils, and up till now he hasn't found solutions. And like Kufour has said, the second segment of his argument about the economic consequences of a possible redenomination is not far-fetched. A lot of other countries that are taking this redenomination have had, even after 10 years, to redo it again, because it has the potential to really weaken the value of the cedi in terms of how it was done. So we need to look at it and query it, noting that it's coming from a former president, you understand, and then also interrogating it with an economic lens. Look at the pros and cons of that statement. Is it possible? Is it the case that indeed before the redenomination, currencies below 10 cedis were useful, and what really happened? The records do exist that after the redenomination, a lot of vendors have more or less changed their pricing regime, and some of them, for convenience of change, for convenience of exchange, which is the main essence of even money, it has actually forced some people to push up cost of certain products, to some levels that he believes, and some economists do believe, that has helped to push up the cost of goods and services. So, again, whatever he says, at any point in time, having been a political head, anything that he says, there are two dimensions that we always look at. There's an economic dimension of it, and there is a political dimension. Again, the political dimension can also be analyzed. And as people say, the NPPs, they are political opponents, and anytime that they bring up an issue, they try to look at it as to how they can, push their political opponent against the wall on a particular issue. We are analyzing dispassionately, but when a politician is talking about an issue, and you have to analyze it, two ways. You have to look at it in a dispassionate manner, in this particular case, with an economic lens, and again, with a political lens. So I think we should, should grant him that.
Let's hear you two briefly, briefly on that.
Let's be very straight with these things.
It is
very difficult to grant the statesman status to ex-president Rawlings. And for me, I've taken the position that the best way not to disrespect him is to not discuss him, not discuss his statements, because it's very difficult not to respond in like manner the way he attacks people if you're in the other side of the political divide, you know. But
is he asking questions or he's attacking somebody?
Look at, he's attacking.
It was President Kufour's government.
Imputing criminality is the genesis of our economic and moral decadence. Those are his words. Where are the money? The old currencies, where is it? What is he suggesting? But, you know, for whatever it is worth.
Why? If he asked the question 10 times, why don't you give him the answer 10 times?
Has he asked the Bank of Ghana? Is that not the appropriate quarters?
That's the point.
Obviously.
And why can't he write? He has people the state pays for to write, to speak for him. Why doesn't he let those people write to the Bank of Ghana? Kufour has brought out the Hansard, all the procedures, the information. He probably didn't listen or he didn't hear it. But if you wrote to the Bank of Ghana and they gave him an answer, then if he was not satisfied with the answer, he would have a basis for asking further questions. But he did not do that.
But you can I help you?
We'll come back.
His questions are not legitimate. They are not bona fides.
The 50 CDs that were collected in 1982.
That's right.
What
I was a student then.
No, you were there.
I was a student. I was a student then. My 50 CDs.
Now you see how it goes.
I'm not gotten it back.
You see that the value Parliament can do itself a huge job, honor, by also creating that informal, in some other jurisdiction, when there's a public issue like that, you create a parliamentary subcommittee to look into this.
That is unnecessary. The answers are here, captured in answer. Why should Parliament do a superfluous job?
Kufour is saying the answers have been provided.
The answers are here in official records of Parliament.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
This is an official record of Parliament.
We need to move on.
Rawlings should go and assess a copy.
Conclude that the best way to deal with former President Rawlings is to disregard him.
I think the best way to deal with it is to deal with his document as a whole. Because we are losing the essence of what he said. I read it to you.
But he distorted it himself.
Oh, yeah, but okay.
He did.
Okay, you put that one. Let's go to the
all right. Thank you very much. This is Newsfile. This is the most authoritative news analysis show.